I think it's important to know your foundation. You need to know what you've come from to move forward. And I am a historian. I love all things history. And I think it's important to remember these people who are our foundation and who we stand upon today.
This whole area of what we know as Franklin today was a land grant of Major Anthony Sharp, and he got 3,480 acres for his military service in the North Carolina Continental Army. North Carolina was bankrupt after the Revolution, and so the only way they could pay their soldiers and officers was with land, and so Middle Tennessee was kind of their honeypot. Now, Anthony sold to Abram Maury, who is the founder of Franklin, 640 acres. And out of that 640 acres, he took 109 acres and created the town of Franklin.
So when you're anywhere down in this area, you're standing on that Revolutionary War land grant that he had been given.
So Williamson County, when it was founded, was cut out of what was original Davidson County, which originally Davidson County ran kind of all the way down to the southern border of the state. So when Williamson was founded, its borders were cut roughly based on its orientation to Davidson County and then the Harpeth River as well on the north side.
Middle Tennessee was wilderness. This was considered Native American hunting ground. And so there's some stories about how settlers who came into Franklin might have had to actually fight off Native American attacks as they're trying to put up their land or along those lines. At that time, you've got John Adams as the president going into Thomas Jefferson.
Now, the people that came into this area many of them had land grants. And they came because the land here is pretty rich. The Harpeth River flows diagonally through Franklin and through Williamson County, starting at Eagleville, and goes all the way through Franklin and out to the north, and eventually runs into the Cumberland River.
The town layout that we have today in Franklin is gridded out pretty much the way that they gridded it out originally. We do have that documented in the county records and the minutes of the county court.
Most early settlers wanted a church. And we know very early that Abram Maury gave a lot down here on the east margin of Franklin, near where the silos are.
Of course, it wasn't called a church at that time. It was called a Methodist meeting house. And we think it started out, even though we're not sure, we do think it started out as a log building, a one-room log building. Over time, we do know it became a brick building, a nice, neat little brick building. And we know that because in 1812, Bishop Francis Asbury preached there. And in his notes, he wrote that he visited a nice little, well, he actually called it neat brick building settled in the curve of the Harpeth.
But, churches then were probably maybe not as powerful as they are today on society. There was a lot of drinking and a lot of cussing and a lot of killing in town. It was like the West. We had the tavern right next door, the White's Tavern. If you look in the county records, there's a lot of distills that were making booze, and a lot of them were Methodist preachers.
This may have been the only meeting house that they could actually come to worship. And different denominations, like many of the earlier settlers here were also Presbyterians. So perhaps even they, until they had their church up and running, they would actually come and attend services at the meeting house.
I think they were hard-working people. They believed in the golden rule. Really, I think they did. and they were pretty good citizens. They looked out for the common good, remembering those that had influence in the community, and particularly the Methodist Church. You know, you do that through keeping things alive. That's one of my, if you don't recognize people, they're going to be forgotten.